One morning, without warning, without reason, Gregor Samsa wakes, to find himself transformed into something he cannot name. His body is hard, segmented, alien. His limbs, multiplied, into fragile legs that skitter at the faintest movement. This is how Franz Kafka begins the Metamorphosis. Without prelude, without magical explanation. As readers, we are not given time to question the plausibility. The impossible is already here. And it feels as natural as Monday morning. Gregor is no philosopher, no dreamer. He is a traveling salesman. A man trapped in the ceaseless rhythm of trains, appointments, and cramped hotel rooms. His life before this morning already held a certain imprisonment. One woven not from iron bars, but from obligation. Each trip was for the sake of his family. His labor, paying their debts. His body and mind, consumed by their security. Franz Kafka was himself born into a web of constraints. Prague, 1883. A city under Austro-Hungarian rule, where multiple identities overlapped and never fully belonged. German-speaking Jews like Kafka lived at a cultural intersection, often feeling outsiders in every circle. At home, he faced a father whose sheer force of personality left young Franz quiet, reserved, and painfully self-critical. In adulthood, he spent his days behind a desk in an insurance office, surrounded by rules as complicated as the human condition they sought to regulate. It is no wonder that Kafka's fiction reflects a world where the individual can be crushed, not by grand conspiracy, but by the slow, silent weight of expectation and bureaucracy. When Gregor does not appear for work that morning, the anxiety is not about his well-being. It is about the disruption of practical matters. The first knocks on his bedroom door are not filled with concern, but with irritation. The manager himself arrives to demand an explanation. Even in Gregor's muffled, panicked attempts to speak, his human voice is already slipping away. The horror here is not a monster in the room. It is how quickly love and connection dissolve when usefulness disappears. Kafka's narration is calm, almost bureaucratic in tone, describing Gregor's grotesque new form with clinical detachment. The family is horrified, yes, but their horror settles into a colder refusal. A refusal to see him as Gregor at all. His bedroom becomes both sanctuary and prison. Greta, his sister, brings him scraps of food and quietly removes the furniture to give him more space for his insect movements. At first, there is kindness in these gestures, but pity is a fragile currency. Soon, she avoids looking at him. Conversation turns to whispers outside the door. Eventually, even Greta begins to speak of him as it rather than he. Kafka does not reveal the cause of Gregor's transformation. There is no curse, no moral wrongdoing, no bargain gone wrong. It simply is. And that makes it more unsettling. Because in life, too, seismic changes often arrive without explanation. Illness, loss of livelihood, deep mental decline. These come suddenly, and the world adapts with clinical swiftness. The symbolism in the Metamorphosis is thick yet ambiguous. Gregor's insect body is a grotesque embodiment of alienation. His loss of speech, a symbol of the muted voice of anyone deemed unworthy. In a mechanized society, his inability to leave his room mirrors depression's suffocating grip. And the family, rather than rally around him, adapts life to his absence, until his existence is merely an inconvenience in the next room. By the end, Gregor's collapse is quiet, almost invisible. The improvement in the family's fortunes after his decline is striking. They each find work. They manage their household. They even imagine a brighter future. Without him, his sacrifice, in years past, is forgotten in the convenience of present relief. For a modern audience, this story cuts close to bone. In a productivity-driven world, value is often measured in contribution. Weakness, in whatever form, risks social disappearance. The metaphor extends far beyond one strange morning in a salesman's life. It touches every hospital room, every worker phased out, every family that chooses survival over solidarity. Kafka's restrained, almost antiseptic prose is the perfect vessel for horror. One that hides, not in screams, but in the soft turning away of faces. He doesn't let us escape into fantasy. There is no magic cure, no act of love that restores Gregor to his former self. Instead, the story erodes toward an ending where his absence is not tragedy, but tidiness. The final cruelty is not Gregor's death, but the family's lightness afterward. They take a tram into the countryside, breathing in fresh air, planning their future. Life has simply moved on. The sting of the metamorphosis lingers, not because we might wake up one morning as something unrecognizable, but because we might already be living behind closed doors, unseen. And because, in some secret part of ourselves, we know we have been on both sides of that door. The abandoned, and the ones, quietly, doing the abandoning. Kafka leaves us with no resolution, no uplifting conclusion. Only the hollow echo of a truth we prefer not to face. That transformation, in any form, changes not just the one transformed, but the entire map of human connection around them.